The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things. Peace is not absence of conflict. It is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. Life is one grand, sweet song, so start the music. Trust, but verify. When you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat. Don't be afraid to see what you see. I've noticed that everyone who is for abortion has already been born. If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be one nation gone under. My philosophy of life is that if we make up our mind what we are going to make of our lives, then work hard toward that goal, we never lose. Somehow, we win out. Heroes may not be braver than anyone else. They're just braver 5 minutes longer. There are no great limits to growth because there are no limits of human intelligence, imagination, and wonder. Facts are stubborn things. I know in my heart that man is good, that what is right will always eventually triumph, and there is purpose and worth to each and every life. Recession is when your neighbor loses his job. Depression is when you lose yours, and recovery is when Jimmy Carter loses his. There are no easy answers, but there are simple answers. We must have the courage to do what we know is morally right. Within the covers of the Bible are the answers for all the problems men face. We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. I've often said, there's nothing better for the inside of a man than the outside of a horse. There is no limit to the amount of good you can do if you don't care who gets the credit. Live simply, love generously, care deeply, speak kindly, leave the rest to God. Without God, democracy will not and cannot long endure. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. Information is the oxygen of the modern age. It seeps through the walls topped by barbed wire. It wafts across the electrified borders. Never let the things you can't do stop you from doing what you can. Concentrated power has always been the enemy of liberty. I've always believed that a lot of the trouble in the world would disappear if we were talking to each other instead of about each other. I now begin the journey that will lead me into the sunset of my life. I know that for America, there will always be a bright dawn ahead. Government exists to protect us from each other. Where government has gone beyond its limits is in deciding to protect us from ourselves. We will always remember. We will always be proud. We will always be prepared. So we will always be free. Freedom prospers when religion is vibrant and the rule of law under God is acknowledged. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Protecting the rights of even the least individual among us is basically the only excuse the government has for even existing. Government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives. Welfare's purpose should be to eliminate, as far as possible, the need for its own existence. Sometimes, when I'm faced with an atheist, I am tempted to invite him to the greatest gourmet dinner that one could ever serve, and when we have finished eating that magnificent dinner, to ask him if he believes there's a cook. The federal government did not create the states. The states created the federal government. Man is not free unless government is limited. A people free to choose will always choose peace. Republicans believe every day is the 4th of July, but the Democrats believe every day is April 15th. Entrepreneurs and their small enterprises are responsible for almost all the economic growth in the United States. A nation that cannot control its borders is not a nation. If we love our country, we should also love our countrymen. The time is now, my fellow Americans, to recapture our destiny, to take it into our own hands. You can tell a lot about a fellow's character by his way of eating jelly beans. All great change in America begins at the dinner table. There are no constraints on the human mind, no walls around the human spirit, no barriers to our progress except those we ourselves erect. Surround yourself with the best people you can find, delegate authority, and don't interfere. I've heard that hard work never killed anyone, but I say, why take the chance? The most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. We don't have $1 trillion debt because we haven't taxed enough. We have $1 trillion debt because we spend too much. Money can't buy happiness, but it will certainly get you a better class of memories. Some people spend an entire lifetime wondering if they made a difference in the world, but the Marines don't have that problem. Thomas Jefferson once said, "We should never judge a president by his age, only by his works." And ever since he told me that, I stopped worrying. We must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It is time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for his actions